Have you ever wondered what happens when the unluckiest person in the world steps onto a train full of the deadliest assassins on the planet? And here's the twist. They all have missions that secretly connect in the most unexpected ways. Imagine being trapped in a speeding vehicle with no escape while chaos erupts around you, and every person you meet could be your end. But somehow you keep surviving through sheer accidents and bizarre coincidences that make you question if luck is real or just another word for destiny playing its twisted games. If you're ready to witness the most explosive train ride of your life, hit that subscribe button and smash that like, because you don't want to miss what happens next. Trust me, this journey through Bullet Train is going to blow your mind in ways you never expected. The story kicks off in Tokyo, where a young boy named Wataru gets pushed off a rooftop by someone mysterious, leaving him in a coma and setting his father, Yuichi Kimura, on a path of revenge that will take him aboard a bullet train heading to Kyoto later that night. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, an American operative known only by the codename Ladybug is getting back into the assassination game after taking time off for therapy and spiritual enlightenment because his previous jobs kept going sideways, with people ending up gone in ways he never intended. His handler Maria Beetle gives him what seems like a simple assignment: just board the bullet train, grab a briefcase full of cash, and get off at the next stop without any complications. But of course, nothing is ever that simple when your reputation for bad luck precedes you wherever you go. Ladybug boards the train, hoping for a peaceful in-and-out operation. But the moment he steps into those sleek compartments, he realizes something is terribly wrong, because this train is crawling with other operatives who all seem to be after the same mysterious briefcase he's supposed to steal. The briefcase is currently in the hands of two British assassin brothers who go by the codenames Tangerine and Lemon, hired to escort not just the $10 million ransom money, but also the kidnapped son of a terrifying Russian-born Yakuza boss known throughout the criminal underworld as the White Death. Lemon has this unusual obsession with a children's show about trains and constantly uses it to categorize people as either good or bad based on the characters, which seems ridiculous until you realize it's actually his way of reading people and situations with surprising accuracy. Tangerine is the more serious and professional one, always trying to keep their mission on track while dealing with his brother's quirky personality and the growing realization that something on this train is very wrong because the White Death's son seems off and the briefcase keeps attracting unwanted attention from every direction. Then there's the prince, a young woman disguised as an innocent schoolgirl who appears harmless and frightened, but in reality she's the one who pushed Wataru off that rooftop and orchestrated this entire deadly setup to lure Yuichi onto the train. She's holding Wataru hostage through a henchman stationed at the hospital with orders to end the boy if anything happens to her, using this leverage to force Yuichi into becoming her weapon against the White Death as part of her elaborate revenge scheme that nobody sees coming until it's too late. Ladybug manages to steal the briefcase from the brothers and thinks he's home free, ready to get off at the next station, when suddenly he's confronted by another assassin called the Wolf, a Mexican operative who immediately attacks him with pure rage fueling every move. The Wolf blames Ladybug for poisoning his entire wedding party, including his newlywed bride, which Ladybug has no memory of doing because he was actually there trying to save them. But the grief-stricken man won't listen to any explanations. During their brutal fight in the train corridor, the Wolf throws a knife that bounces off the briefcase and comes right back into his own chest in a twist of irony so cruel it would be funny if it wasn't so tragic. And Ladybug is left standing there, completely shocked by how his terrible luck just saved his life in the most accidentally effective way possible. He stashes the briefcase in a hiding spot and arranges the Wolf's body to look like a sleeping passenger, hoping nobody notices while he figures out his next move in this increasingly complicated situation. Meanwhile, the prince reveals her true nature to Yuichi, showing him that she's not a victim, but a master manipulator who orchestrated his son's incident and now controls whether the boy lives or ends through her operative at the hospital. She explains that she knows Yuichi works for the White Death, and that's exactly why she needs him, to be her instrument in taking down the crime boss as part of a revenge plot that goes deeper than anyone realizes at this point in the journey. Things escalate rapidly when the White Death's son suddenly gets poisoned and expires in the same mysterious way as the Wolf's wedding party, using a modified venom that works fast and leaves barely any trace. Lemon suspects Ladybug is responsible and confronts him, leading to a misunderstanding where Ladybug admits to taking someone out, but he's actually talking about the wolf, while Lemon thinks he means the White Death's son, and they end up fighting until Ladybug knocks Lemon unconscious. The prince and Yuichi work together to booby-trap the briefcase with explosives designed to eliminate the White Death when he opens it, and as backup they rig Yuichi's weapon to backfire on whoever pulls the trigger. Ladybug encounters Tangerine, and they have another intense confrontation that ends with Ladybug literally kicking Tangerine off the moving train, though the determined brother manages to climb back aboard, showing just how resilient these operatives are. A suspicious Lemon finds Yuichi with the prince, but gets completely fooled by her innocent schoolgirl act and assumes Yuichi captured her. So he ends Yuichi, but then collapses after drinking water that Ladybug had spiked with sleeping substances earlier. The prince then shoots Lemon and drags both unconscious men into a bathroom to hide the evidence of her manipulations. Ladybug's bad luck continues when he encounters yet another assassin called the Hornet, an American operative who specializes in poisons and is revealed to be the one who took out both the White Death's son and the wolf's entire wedding party using that modified venom. During their struggle, both of them get exposed to the toxic substance, but Ladybug manages to steal her anti-venom and save himself while leaving her to suffer the consequences of her own weapon in another darkly ironic twist. Tangerine finds the prince and realizes she's the one who shot Lemon because his brother had put a sticker on her, identifying her as dangerous using his train character system. But before Tangerine can act on this knowledge, Ladybug attacks him and accidentally causes Tangerine to get hit in a way that ends him. Despite Tangerine's final attempts to warn him about the prince's true nature, Ladybug believes she's innocent and agrees to protect her as they approach their destination. Yuichi's father, known as the Elder, boards the train and immediately recognizes the prince's voice, seeing through her deception and informing her that Wataru is actually safe because an undercover protector eliminated her operative at the hospital. The Elder explains to Ladybug that he's seeking revenge against the White Death, who took over his Yakuza clan by eliminating his wife and his entire organization, and that fate has brought all of them together on this train for a final confrontation. They discover that both Yuichi and Lemon are still alive, with Lemon having survived because he was wearing protective gear, and the four of them form an unlikely alliance to face whatever awaits them at Kyoto Station. When the train arrives at Kyoto, Ladybug hands over the briefcase to the White Death, who has been waiting for this moment, and that's when the terrifying crime boss reveals the truth behind everything that's happened. The prince is actually his estranged daughter, and she tries to manipulate him into using Yuichi's rigged weapon on her as part of her plan to take over his criminal empire, but the White Death sees through her scheme. He explains that every single assassin on this train, including his own son, played some role in the incident that took his wife from him, and he orchestrated this entire deadly game, hoping they would eliminate each other as punishment for their involvement. Lemon and Tangerine had taken out his crew in Bolivia, forcing him to handle that situation personally. His son got arrested, and his wife went to bail him out, but got into an accident that required a specialized heart surgeon. But that surgeon had been poisoned by the Hornet, causing his wife to pass away on the operating table. The original operative Carver, who Ladybug replaced, was actually sent to take out the White Death, but ended up causing his wife's demise instead, making Ladybug the only assassin on the train who wasn't actually responsible for the tragedy. The White Death's men open the booby-trapped briefcase, which explodes violently, throwing both Ladybug and the crime boss back onto the train as chaos erupts around them. The remaining henchmen board the train, and an all-out battle breaks out with the Elder dueling the White Death in an intense sword fight that showcases both their skills and their deep-seated hatred for each other. Their combat causes the bullet train to lose control and derail, sending it hurtling through downtown Kyoto in a catastrophic crash that destroys buildings and vehicles in its path before finally coming to a stop amid smoking wreckage and debris. The White Death emerges from the destruction with the Elder's sword stuck in his chest, but still determined to end Ladybug. Yet when he tries to shoot him, the rigged weapon backfires and explodes in his face, finishing him off with his own daughter's trap. The prince steps forward with a machine weapon, declaring herself the new White Death and ready to take control of the criminal empire. But before she can threaten anyone further, she gets struck and eliminated by a passing fruit truck carrying tangerines in a moment of dark comedy that feels like the universe itself delivering justice. It's later revealed that Lemon survived and was driving that truck, avenging his brother Tangerine's demise in the most fitting way possible, given their code names and their bond throughout this insane journey. Maria Beetle arrives to pick up Ladybug, who can't believe he actually survived this nightmare of a mission. And as Japanese authorities swarm the scene, trying to comprehend the incredible destruction these assassins caused throughout Kyoto, Ladybug finally gets to leave the bullet train behind him, wondering if maybe his luck is finally starting to change after all.